My name is Benjamin Cousins, and these are my responses to discussion 3.1. My topic is what social work methods of intervention are most effective when dealing with domestic abuse against adolescents, primarily adolescent girls, and what are the primary outcomes? Uh, Question one: what was your familiarity with your research topic prior to this course? Um, Honestly, not very strong. I obviously knew that it was an issue, part of the reason why I got into social work. Um, and it's kind of the reason why I chose this topic is so that I may inform myself more, so that when I get into the field, I am more prepared and more knowledgeable about the topic and different intervention methods that I can use, um, so that I may help others in the future. What life experiences, exposures, or perceptions have I developed on the topic? I haven't really been exposed to this exact topic um, in great detail throughout my life. However, I have had conversations with people who have uh, gone through this, and they have opened up to me about what they have gone through. Um, and it has really kind of clicked with me about how much the lasting trauma affects the rest of their lives. I never really understood how much it could have an impact on people until I started kind of having people reach out to me about related topics, and it really opens your eyes as to how much it impacts them well into, later into life. Pretty eye-opening. What new information did I learn about the topic while completing my summary table of evidence? Empowerment-based, trauma-informed, and school and community interventions were effective in reducing TUD through education, counseling, and support. Not Nothing groundbreaking to me. However, going through those interventions are going to be very helpful for me for when I get into the field. High abuse profiles and multi-offenders were aligned to increase violent behavior and externalizing issues. Again, not very surprising. However, it makes sense, and um, I can definitely see myself taking this and running away with it for my research because I think it's going to be quite helpful. And I think I'm going to be able to really build off of this concept going into my paper. Did any of the information evoke a noticeable reaction for me? Not necessarily. I mean, it kind of opened up a couple doors for me, which is kind of exciting, so that I may expand my knowledge of the topic, so that I may, be better, be more prepared in the future, um, which I think is, obviously the reason we're doing this paper. How has my perspective of the topic been changed by the articles you reviewed? The information that I gathered from the articles has been quite helpful, of course. However, I can't necessarily say that it has been totally view changing for me. The topic is something that you can read all you want. It's never going to prepare you for actually dealing with a case until you gain experience of working on cases in this field of work. I mean, it takes a certain kind of person, and you can read all you want. You can read and read and read and read and read until you can step in and actually make a change. Um, I don't see a game-changing asset coming from strictly gaining knowledge from articles. What are some of the most meaningful outcomes and lessons that I learned from the articles? Um, Empowerment-based, trauma-informed, and school and community interventions were effective in reducing TUD through education, counseling, and support. Very important. As well as high abuse profiles and multi-offenders were linked to increased violent behavior and externalizing issues. I found that incredibly interesting, and I think I'm really going to be able to build off of that in my paper. Share my hypothesis for the focus of my research proposal, considering the lessons I learned from the literature review. Self-empowerment and independence are going to play very strong roles in overcoming abuse-induced trauma. I think that is really, really, really going to be a central focus for my paper as well, because working with individuals in my field of work, I'm not working with people who are, who have gone through, specifically with people who have gone through, massive trauma. However, I'm working with people who have had their lives changed because of an event. When I work with them, I work on self-empowerment, not through, say, congratulating them, or, telling them they did a good job, or giving them high remarks on what they did. I work on self-empowerment by actively engaging them in understanding what they accomplished on their own without me having to tell them what they accomplished. For example, if I have a client who has been struggling with a particular exercise that we do, and they've been struggling with it for weeks, instead of me walking them through every step and telling them that they did a good job on this part of the drill and this part of the drill and this part of the drill, I don't say anything. I just sit back and I watch, and I allow them to stand back and analyze their own position, so that they can start to gain the sense of accomplishment, and they can understand when they're accomplishing something, rather than them being trained to understand that they're accomplishing something by me telling them that they're accomplishing something, because I'm not going to be there all the time. So going back to this, I think it's going to be very important when working with abuse-induced trauma, because these people have obviously developed a strong sense of self-doubt, and diving into that is going to be very important for overcoming any of these issues that they're dealing with, and allowing them to move on and live the life that they deserve.